Welcome to a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning, and I will tell you, I am wearing a Melania blue because I love this color blue. Forgot I had this sweater, and I found it in the back of my closet. Boy, I love it now, and I'm so glad I did, and it seems to work well with this new set. We've gotten some great compliments from y'all who love the colors of the new set. It brightened it up a little bit, and I don't feel so much like I'm sitting in a lawyer's office now. Love the set that we had for years, but it's a little bit stiff and starchy and formal and almost look like we were sitting in an office. So now it's kind of like we're sitting at the kitchen table. Today, my table is missing somebody because my co-host, and we were all ready for today's program, we were going to have so much fun, is puking her guts out. There is a horrible virus going around. About 70% of the church had this virus, and she happened to have caught it. And I'm going to say thank you to the Lord for giving it to her at 3 o'clock this morning, because before she came to the set, she knew she was very sick and probably very contagious. So I'm very thankful that Jen got hit at 3 o'clock in the morning, not at 11:15 while we were sitting here live on the air. That would have been a horrible, horrible day for y'all and for me too. So say a little prayer for her. You know, I've been thinking about this because I've been reading a lot of stuff on Facebook, and we have the ability to ask for prayer here on live television. That is pretty awesome. That is pretty cool that in the moment, at the second, if I get a phone call, I keep my phone here on the set with me. If I keep a phone call and somebody needs prayer, all I have to do is request that you do that. And so many of you do, and I think that's what makes live TV here at ETC so wonderful. We are about the communities that we serve. And she's up in the North Market. The North Market's been hit really, really hard with this bug. Now, I happen to be in the South Market, and knock on wood, so far, haven't been sick yet. I did have a flu shot, but the flu shot doesn't help a bug like they've got going around up in Fannin. If you feel nauseated, if you get sick, please keep yourself hydrated and take care of yourself. Thankfully, this seems to be a fast-moving bug. So when you get it, stay at home, stay away from folks, protect yourself, and take care of yourself. I have to say a thank you, and I have to get this done before I cry the rest of the show, so I want to do this. This weekend was a very, very hard weekend for our family. When Angela passed away, she left behind a precious, precious little dog. Her name is Misha, that Dawn immediately took over and raised Misha, and this weekend we lost Misha. So it has been a sad, sad, horrible time. Do we wish that it had come out differently? Oh my goodness. And you know, if you have those pets that are like your family, and Misha was family, Misha was the queen. Misha ruled the show, and we all wrapped ourselves around her, number one, because she was with Angela when she passed away. Very, very special to us to have Angela's baby with us. And now she's gone on to the Rainbow Bridge. And hopefully we're going to get through this, but it has been horrible. And I said the last time I had a pet that I was so connected to, I said, never again, never again. It hurts so much. But if you're thinking about replacing a pet or having a pet for yourself, please go to the shelters and find a pet who needs a home. Don't go buy one and pay some ridiculous price for a purebred something or other. Because it really doesn't matter in the end. They're going to give you just as much love. It doesn't matter what they are. Misha was a Shih Tzu, and we probably would not try Shih Tzus again because she has had some medical problems from the beginning of her life. But oh, how we wish we had gotten her to the vet sooner, how we wish that we had known. She was only sick one day, and in one day lost the love of our family. I mean, we just love this baby so much. So it's been a rough weekend. Based on that weekend, I've chosen something to do for y'all today. I spent some time with two wonderful women that I love. I spent Saturday and Sunday with Vicki Holyfield and with Angela Nolte, and we just accomplished a lot. We had some special times together. We laughed together. We probably cried a little bit together, but we spent time doing what women do best. We lift each other. And we need that. We all need that. So today I chose a message from Brother Matt Dobler that I want to share with y'all. And it's funny because when I was watching it, I didn't even recognize where this pecan pie came from. And it's actually a pecan pie that Freddie's mom made. And as I watch the playback, it talks about how you can just do a little something for your friends or for your neighbors, and it really does lift their spirits. We don't know what everybody's facing. Not everybody puts on Facebook what's going on in their life. You might know somebody who's very depressed. And we talked this morning about the fact that we have so many friends who have committed suicide in the last couple of months. It is a very, very tough time of year. January is not my favorite time. I am so thankful to say that tomorrow is the last day of January. I hope that January is gone for good for a while. It is very hard. I don't know if it's because of the holidays and then January comes and you're kind of let down. I don't know if it's because people are disappointed because they didn't see their family or friends over the holidays. I don't know what it is about January, but January is a tough one. And we have seen so many sad things. We went out to the cemetery to visit Daniel Goss's grave. It was his birthday. He should not have been in a grave on his birthday. Sadly, his life ended, and it just broke my heart. And I thought about how so many people get so down over this time of year. So I've chosen 2 songs that ought to encourage you and lift you. And I will tell you, y'all can make fun of me today if you want to. Everybody knows I'm a Southern gospel girl. I'm going to do 2 songs today that will absolutely blow your mind. This lady could have won The Voice. She has an amazing soprano voice. She was singing in her church all her life and did this recording as a gift for her mom for her birthday. When I heard it, I just was like, oh my gosh. And I described it as being like a date with Richard Gere and going to see an amazing opera. There's just something about this music that it just fills your soul. And it is just beautiful. And yeah, y'all make fun of me. Lydia Dockery Long, I know you're going to laugh. And I know that Denise Caldwell's going to laugh at me because I always say I'm not into contemporary music. This is so beautiful. We're going to have How Great Thou Art and Your Eyes on the Sparrow, and it is so beautiful. And I just keep listening to it over and over and over this weekend, and it helped me through the weekend. So I hope that these songs will encourage you, inspire you, lift you, and just make you think that, man, yeah, there is a better day coming. January is almost gone. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Now, I have a lot of birthdays today, and I want to start with a very special lady. For many, many years, everybody knew that I showed up with every kind of hairdo that could ever be imagined, including a little bit of purple in my hair one time and some lowlights in my hair one time. Miss Pam Dorsey did my hair for years, and when she was out on medical leave, Miss Leah took over, and Leah learned from watching Pam. They stood side by side for many years. So to Miss Pam Dorsey yesterday, happy birthday to you. To Gertrude Enos, happy birthday to you. To Cheryl Brooks, to Miss Louise Brown, happy birthday. And to Ted Davis, happy birthday. To Nate Gaddis, happy birthday. To Charco Ray, happy birthday. To George Wynn, to Nancy Cantrell, Shane Penley, Yvonne McNally, who is my idol. This woman is like Superwoman forever. Barbara Bozeman, happy birthday. To Jamie Gaddis, to Cindy Jones, and to Evelyn Potter, happy birthday to each and every one of you. Now, when something sad happens to you, you just try to get through it. My way of getting through everything is to cook. When something happens and I'm upset or I'm sad or I'm distraught, I cook. So I cooked a little bit this weekend and I made a pound cake, and everybody was asking where could we get the recipe. Well, you can get the recipes for almost everything I ever do out of my cookbook. This is the 3rd cookbook I've done. We're almost out of them, but we still have some available at Jasper Mountain Crafts and Consignment. This is right across the street from Jasper Middle School in Jasper. You get the cookbook, and you also get a CD version of the cookbook. So if you want to download the CD in your computer, if you're computer savvy, and then give the cookbook as a gift, you get both of those for the same price. So that's pretty awesome. And one thing about my cookbook, and people keep saying your recipes are so awesome, they're so good, they're so simple. And that's the whole key. I raised a whole bunch of kids, and I was always busy, and I was always a working mom. So my recipes are designed to get you in the kitchen and get you out of the kitchen, not to spend your life there. The pound cake that I did last night is like my forever favorite recipe, and it was my grandmother's long ago. And then I improvised it a little bit by changing one stick of butter and adding cream cheese to it, so it's always been my favorite. And last night, I might say it was pretty flippin' good. It was yummy. Takes a lot of eggs, a lot of butter, cream cheese, but it is really, really good. So if you are in a mood to cook, if you cook, share what you made with somebody, because it will lift your spirits too when you see their face when you show up with something. I think that when you're giving back to somebody else, you really realize that it comes back to you over and over again. So remember that. And today's message from Brother Matt, I hope will encourage you to do something for somebody else. I hope that the music from Miss Vicki, and when I think about, I can't carry tune in a bucket, I can't sing, but I know who can. And when I listen to people, I know you're either dead on it or you're not. She is amazing. And as I sat and listened to her, I thought about this. You know, this was, The Voice wasn't around and Idol wasn't around for years, but there's so many people who have this amazing God-given talent. You have to use that talent He gives you, because the talent could be gone tomorrow. You could wake up in the morning and your vocal cords not work correctly. You know, something could happen to you. So I told her, I said, we have to be encouraged to share your music with people, because this will lift somebody's spirits. So today I hope that the music will lift your spirits. I certainly hope the message will lift your spirits. And my spirits are lifted because real estate is picking up. And I've had several closings lately. I have a couple more about to happen, and I'm very excited to be in an area where people are looking for homes. And I have two things I want to talk to you about today. Somebody's looking for 15 acres and a pond, and I have got to find the right fix. This place is just off Jones Mountain on 136. It's out in the country. So it's 1.25 miles down a dirt road, but it's a very well-traveled dirt road. Beautiful piece of property, beautiful piece of property. And I hadn't thought much about it until I was looking at a picture of Misha out at that property and how much fun she had that day. And just what a wonderful place it would be for a family to build their dream home, or a cabin, or maybe a cabin for you and then a cabin for your children. If you want more information on this property, pick up the phone and call me at 404-375-0590. And also, I have a home in town in Jasper that I really need to sell to help this gentleman getting a nursing home. He's in his upper 80s, and he really needs to get some medical assistance. And he said, I just have to sell my house and be done with this. So we're trying to sell. It's an older home on a corner lot with big, beautiful pecan trees, and behind it is another tiny little house that he had used as a rooming house for years. He now has shut the rooming house down and just needs to sell this property. So if you're interested in this, it's $88,000. You're going to get the front house. They both need remodeling and you know, paint and vamping it up and changing a few things, and move in the front house and then work on the back house and then rent it out, because there's so many people looking for rental property today. So again, if you need to get in touch with me about that, my number is 404-375-0590. So, two pieces of property that might be of interest to somebody. The pond and the 15 acres is just beautiful. It is just absolutely beautiful. And the gentleman who bought it had a special needs son, and he bought that property and spent some time with his son out there fishing and just enjoying the time in nature. And now they're just ready to be done with it. So again, this is off of Jones Mountain on 136. Just a beautiful, beautiful community. A lot of folks live out in that area now. It's about 9 minutes to Jasper, and it's about 15-20 minutes to LJ, so not very far. But anyway, pick up the phone and call me on either one of those properties. We're going to go to a commercial break, and we're going to share the first song. Now, this song goes out to Jen, because Jen loves the song How Great Thou Art, and I have listened to Carrie Underwood do it the day that she and Vince Gill did it, and it absolutely will bring tears to your eyes. It will make you cry. It will just blow your mind at how beautiful this song is. And I want you to listen to Miss Vicki as she did this song. She sang in church all the time, and her mom wanted a recording, and so this is her gift to her mom, and I think it's a gift to everybody. So I want you to sit back and listen and reflect on, yeah, he is really great, and if he weren't great, we would not be getting through the things that we have found ourselves arriving in and then coming out of. And I think that's something that when you look around at anything you're facing, please don't look at the alternative of ending your life. I've seen so many people lately who made that choice, and it's been a very, very sad January for a lot of people. So sit back and be encouraged by the words to this song. We're going to take a commercial break and a little music, and then I'll be back, and then Brother Matt and I are going to spend some time with you.
You have never been so happy, dancing, swinging, laughing at me, smile on my face. It's happiness for days. Flowers in the garden grow, sun will shine on us below. All our days, growing up and old together, couldn't even dream a better, couldn't even dream a better way. You are everything I need, happy ever after we'll be. Couldn't even dream a better, once upon a life together, couldn't even dream a better way. A better way. A better way.
Fountain Roofing has been providing excellent service for 35 years. Let Lonnie assist you in choosing the roof perfect for your home and your budget. Commercial or residential, he can handle it all. Fountain Roofing continues to provide quality workmanship and will provide references upon request. At Fountain Roofing, we've got you covered. Call Lonnie at 706-692-6997. That's 706-692-6997.
Since 1962, Gilmer Towing has been serving the North Georgia area and would like to say thanks to all of our customers. For over 48 years, Gilmer Towing has carried on a family tradition with an experienced and friendly staff that offers 24-hour damage-free towing, unlocks, and four-wheel drive recovery. So when you're stuck in a ditch, tires flat, or car won't start, give us a call. Local or long hauls, big or small, Gilmer Towing will get them all. Give us a call today at 706-636-4TOW.
In today's changing world, some things should never change. Time-honored compassionate services are what families have come to know with Roper Funeral Home. Our professional and courteous staff offers traditional services, cremations, as well as advanced funeral planning, which relieves the burden from those we love.
Hello, I'm Kevin Roper. If you have any questions about the services we provide, we invite you to give us a call, stop by, or better yet, ask a family who has used our services.
We've had Alpha Insurance since our first daughter.
And when we had quadruplets, we really needed Alpha.
Now we need our own insurance with great rates, fast claim service,
and a local agent we know.
And we want a company our kids and grandkids can trust.
Call Alpha!
For the best agents in the business, call Ed Stepp in Blue Ridge.
Georgia Medical Treatment Center in Canton specializes in low-level pain management. We provide a holistic approach to treatment, managing knee, back, and joint pain along with migraines, allergies, and medical weight loss through holistic and alternative approaches rather than pharmaceutical treatments. By offering multiple specialties under one roof, including chiropractic care and neuropathy injection treatment, we create the continuity of care that assures positive patient outcomes. So take the first step to a life free of pain. Give us a call or go online today to georgiamtc.com.
Oh Lord, my God.
got that one out to Jen, and I got a message from Jen during the middle of that, and she said, "Oh, great. It is great. It is great." That is such a powerful song. And you know, I know that the Lord has certain people in mind when He gives you certain jobs and certain things to do. And I'm just blown away when somebody can sing like that. And that is a God-given talent. You know, you just think about, you just wake up one morning and you have this amazing voice and you can deliver that. And what a powerful statement to share that message with everybody. So, hope you enjoyed that. That song went out to Miss Jen because she is at home today, sicker than a dog. And all I can say is I'm so thankful it hit her before she got here to the studio because we'd had a rough day. So, all right, I've chosen a message from Brother Matt. I think this message is important. I think that you need to hear it. I listened to it and I thought about all the things we're dealing with, and we just have to sit back and wait because it truly is in His time. You know, Dawn and I spent the weekend blaming this one, that one, ourselves. What happened? Why couldn't we do this? Why couldn't we do that? Everything truly is in His time. And there is nothing we can do to change that. And so I want you to sit back and I want you to listen to this message. I want you to remain positive and upbeat and think about, you know, if you lost somebody to the tragedy the way we lost Angela, it makes it very different. It makes it very different. They didn't, you know, it's just so different. And people have a hard time dealing with that. They have a hard time talking to us about it because they don't know what to say. But if you've lost a family member, and lately I know so many people who've lost a family member because of suicide, please say a special prayer for them. So sit back today and be encouraged and be inspired and have your spirits lifted by listening to a message from Brother Matt. Was yesterday, and I love it. I have on a spring color in honor of, you know, let's just move on. Let's get rid of the winter. Let's get rid of all the bad things. And I'm moving on with something that tomorrow, we're going to have a message tomorrow from me. And I'm going to give you a little homework today. I want every one of you to make the best pie you can possibly make and then share it with somebody. And you see this pie? This started when Bill Senyard's mom and dad decided to pick up pecans and then sell them because they needed to make a little extra money and they had the availability of the pecans. So they picked up the pecans and they chose really, really good pecans and they shelled them. They did a perfect job on them. And then I gave them to a lady who made, in my opinion, this is the world's best pecan pie. Now she could have made a pecan pie with these wonderful ingredients and made it bad and not good. Or she could have taken great ingredients and made it a great pie. She did. And I think that we are kind of like a slice of God's pie. He gave us the ingredients, and what we do with it is our choice. Do we put salt in it? Do we put sugar in it? Do we put faith in it? Do we put hope in it? Do we put greed in it? Do we put jealousy in it? What do we put in our pie of life? And I think it's our decision. Now, I have decided, although the crew would probably like to eat this pie, it ain't going to happen. It's going back to Freddie Brackett because his mama made it. So I'm taking it back to the office. But I want y'all to make a pie today. And I want you to choose a really, really good recipe and share it with somebody that needs a little lift. Because to make a pie doesn't cost a lot of money. And you can put the best ingredients in the world in it. Or you can make a crappy pie. Now, if you have a crappy day, you can make a crappy pie. And then you can look at your life as just a bad day. Or you can decide to make it the best it can be. And you don't have to have a bunch of expensive ingredients. This is like 4 or 5 ingredients, but good ingredients that didn't cost a lot of money. And I think that every one of you today should make a pie and either walk next door and give it to a neighbor who maybe needs a lift, or take it down to, maybe you go and pay your water bill every month and the lady there is really, really nice to you. Make her a pie. Because a pie will show you more about your life than anything. You can take the right ingredients and totally mess it up. Or you can take the right ingredients and decide how you want to live your life. So I think a pie is a great example of what we are today. Now there's a piece of pie missing.
Notice that.
Let me tell you where it went. Ansley got this side and I got this side. I got 3 bites of this amazing pie. It was really, really good. And it gave me this idea that, you know, this was a homemade crust. So love, her hands and her love went into this pie. I would have gone and bought a crust. I think they're 79 cents at the grocery store, but she took the time to make a crust. So I think you get out of life what you put into it. And she put wonderful ingredients, and on top of being a great woman and a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady, she made a pie for us. And I said, you know, I think every single one of us can decide to be a piece of God's pie. And we can get it right or we can get it wrong. Because what you get out of life is what you put into it. And I think that this pie is a great example, and I've made a mess. Now today, because we have a very, very special guest, we're going to do the show backwards. We're going to do it right now. We're going to do about a 2-minute opening, and then we're going to move on to our commercials and our sponsors and yada, yada, yada. Then we're going to come back and Matt's going to deliver his message. You're going to get to hear a song. It's not by Matt, but it's an original. It was written for Julie Weeks. Many of you have watched her story. You have listened to the commercials about the benefits that have been done for her. There have been spaghetti meals. There have been this. There have been so many things. Okay, we're going to advance to Brother Matt's message, and I want to share with you, we have a lot of guys who've been on the show who've written their own music, who've done songs. If you go to my YouTube page, I posted all of those, so if you're sitting at home one night, you can watch it on YouTube, and I've got so many guys who've done original music with somebody in mind. You know, Angela's Smile was done for her by her friend Mike Rizzuko, and when Miss Julie Weeks was facing what she was facing, Jimmy Allen did a song for her. I think actually Shelley wrote this song, but it was a beautiful, beautiful song that I heard the first time when there was a benefit going on for her. If you have one of these God-given talents, it is your duty to share that talent, and it's my duty to share it, so I put them on YouTube. So if you're thinking about any of the music we talk about or any of the things that you want to hear again, I've got a lot of stuff posted on YouTube, so I think you can just Google me, go to me, and you'll find it. Right now we're going to go back to Brother Matt, and he's going to deliver a message. I hope that this message will touch your heart.
Number 30, verse 1 through 5 is what we're going to be looking at. The Old Testament, Psalm chapter number 30, verse 1 through 5. The Bible says, I will extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up and hast made my foes to rejoice, hast not made my foes to rejoice over me. O Lord my God, I cried unto thee, and thou hast helped me, or healed me. O Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave. Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit. Sing unto the Lord, O you saints of his, and give thanks at his remembrance of his holiness. For his anger endureth but a moment, and his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Interesting, these several thoughts in these verses, as you even read through them, you can even think of some other things that you could study and bring out, but for sake of time and for the testimony that we have on the broadcast today, that I think would be a blessing to each and every one of you. And I think seeing is believing, and I think seeing the testimony, I'm amazed at how the Lord works things together in our life for a purpose. The Bible says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and them that are called according to his purpose. And as I was praying about the message and seeking the Lord as to what message to bring, he plainly put this passage of scripture on my mind, which tells me something, that somebody out there needs to hear this, that somebody needs to hear this message of hope, that it's going to get better. Things are going to get better. The last verse that we read says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. There's been times that there's been hard nights, and there's been tough nights and sad nights and disasters and storms that we've been through, but the morning breaks through. No matter what happens in our life, we can't stop the sun from coming up in the morning. In other words, there's not a trial that I've ever faced, there's not a heartache that I've ever been through that has stopped or hindered the next day from coming. This day may be a disaster. This day may be troublesome to you. Maybe you've been through some night seasons in your life. But no matter what those night seasons have been, they have not been able to hinder the sun from coming in to our life the next day. We can't, in other words, we may have down times, but God's going to bring in the good times. And there's just a few simple thoughts that I think that we can look at, that we can apply to our life, that when you're going through a night season, to realize things are going to get better. Today, as the opening, I even think about the opening, and as we looked at as Cherie mentioned about the pie and how we are giving, life is given to us ingredients. What we put into this thing that is our performance or our our object that we're going to use, this pie, it's really up to us. We don't put the right ingredients together at the right time and in the right situation, then it's not going to turn out right. But if you do it just according to the plan, which the Bible is our plan, and we have to seek the Lord and find out what His desire is for our life, then if we do it according to plan, then it's going to be not only a blessing to us because we see the finished product, but it's going to help others receive enjoyment too. And so in this day, determine that this day things are going to get better. Look for the good things that are going to happen in today, and they are going to happen. I mean, there are going to be some great things that'll happen. We just have to open our eyes to the understanding that there are things God's providing for us, but if we're not careful, we won't see the blessings because of the burdens that we may face. Everybody faces burdens. I'm not saying things are just going to be a bed of roses today, but I can say that He'll never leave you nor forsake you. So as we study this, we look back to verse number 1. It says, I will extol thee, I will lift thee, I will praise thee, I will magnify thy name. And it says here, I will extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up. Thou hast encouraged me in the past. Thou hast brought me from a low point in the past. Now, look in your life. This is not... Americans, we've not always had it easy. Now, I believe we're spoiled. I really think that we're spoiled in America because of how good we've had it. God has been so good to us and supplied for us in so many ways. But I do know that we've also been through some down times. Through the years in my own life, I've seen some low points. I've seen where sometimes the food supply wasn't exactly what we wished it had been. Sometimes our money supply is not exactly what we had hoped for. Sometimes it's not just an optimal experience for us. We could see so many other things that could happen. But if you look back in your life, you see that there have been low times, but God lifted you up out of those situations. I go back to the place when we first accepted Christ as Savior. He lifted us up, as the psalmist says, out of a horrible pit. So He started out our Christian walk by lifting us up out of a pit. And God is in the business of lifting us up. God is in the business of encouraging you and lifting you up. There are times that things happen, circumstances and Satan and things in our life will bring us down. They will make us focus on the bad things, but God will lift us up each and every time. I can think of just daily things that happen in our life. Maybe going down the road, turn on the radio, and a great song comes on and touches our heart. Well, God lifts us up at that point. Maybe we go through a week and the week has just been tough and the devil has just fought us, and we find our way to the house of God on Sunday, and we get in there and they start singing the hymns, and we start singing and hearing testimony. We hear a Sunday school lesson or a message, and it lifts our spirit up. God has lifted us up in the past. It's going to get better. And if you're in a low point, start looking for God to lift you up, because He didn't write these things in the Bible for us to have down times. He said, these things have I written unto you, that your joy might be full, that your joy might remain. So God didn't intend for you to stay down. God intended for you to be lifted up. And this verse says, thou hast lifted me up. I cannot tell you the times that God has lifted me up. I can tell you this much: every time I've been down, the one that brought me up and lifted me up was the Lord. The Lord didn't put me down, but the Lord brought me up every time. So look back in your life and think of all the down times. You didn't stay down. Well, what happened? The Lord lifted you up. It's going to get better. So just by that past testimony, you know and I know that it's not going to stay here. It's amazing to me in my life. This is kind of how I look at it. Is there's been so many times in my life that I just feel like, well, man, this is it. You know, just kind of down. I almost kind of use a humorous illustration here. You remember, Fred Sanford would always say, this is the big one, this is the big one. Every time we face something, this is the big one. This is the one that's going to take us down. You and I know that that's kind of how it feels at times, that, boy, this is the biggest trial I'll ever face. This is the biggest pain and suffering I'll ever face. But somehow that mighty hand of God will get under you and undergird you, and all of a sudden you'll start to be lifted up once again. God did that. Thou lifted me up. Thou hast lifted me up. And whatever you're facing right now, He's going to do the same thing. And we know that by His past track record. As we look on verse number 2, it says, O Lord my God, I cried unto Thee, and Thou hast healed me. Whenever I see things like this, I think of Psalm 103, where it says, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless His holy name. Down in that chapter, it says, who healeth my diseases, all my diseases. And it talks about those things. Well, what I'm trying to say here is let's look at your life. Go back again into the records of your life. Pull out the file cabinet. Start looking at the problems. We know there's been downtimes, but every downtime represents a time that God lifted you up. Now let's go back. I'm 44 years old, and if I go back into my life and I think of times that I've been sick, I remember years and years and years ago I had been in the hospital and have surgery, but just for adenoids and stuff like that, but that's just a little thing. But let's think of every common cold that I've had. I wonder how many colds a person has in their lifetime. There ain't no telling how many times, because it seems like mine always hits me right in the dead of summer. I don't know why, it's the weirdest time, but when I get a cold in the summertime, it's just a terrible cold. Well, how many times have I had a cold? How many times have I maybe had a flu or strep throat or just some kind of sickness, an earache, whatever it may be? This Bible tells me right here that I called unto the Lord. How many times have I been sick? I remember one particular time I had strep throat, and honestly, I don't consider myself a baby. I know men, we sometimes are babies. When we get sick, it's like the world is coming in on us, and this is gonna take us down. We're gonna die right here, and we might have just had a sniffle. I don't know, but now I don't consider myself that. I try not to look at myself as that way. I hope I'm not that way. My wife and daughters are not here, to where they would tell you differently. But I remember this one particular time I had strep throat, and it was terrible. I had a terrible fever, and I laid there in bed, and I remember thinking this thought. Now, you may think that I was just being a baby, but I really thought I was going to die. I thought this is terrible. I mean, I'm very sick. I didn't feel like I could hardly breathe. I had been sick, and along with this strep throat, and it was just terrible. And I thought, well, I'm going to die right here. Of course, at a time like that, you always pray and you say, Lord, please touch me, heal me. Well, that's been 26 years ago, 25 years ago. And I look at that and I think, well, the Lord took care of me then. And I think of even the common cold. You know, I believe the common cold could even be deadly if it hadn't been for God taking care of us. What I'm trying to say is this God that lifts us up is also the God that heals us and has healed us in the past. Maybe you're facing a sickness today. Maybe, I don't know what it may be. Maybe you've been told some bad news, or maybe it's heart disease, maybe it's whatever it may be, but I want you to understand that you serve a God that no matter what you're facing, He's bigger than that situation. And the same God that delivered you and lifted you up in the past and healed your sicknesses in the past is able to heal you in this sickness. Now we have to pray and say, God, what is your purpose for this in my life? Let it run its course as you want it to, but help me to pray through it. Let me ask you to help me, but help me to be the witness I need to be in this. What I'm trying to say, it's going to get better. It's going to get better in your situation. We know that because of God's past track record. And that verse, it also said, I cried unto thee. Isn't it great to know that we have the privilege of prayer? We can talk to the Lord and share with Him our burdens and our heartaches. He lifts us up, but He also listens to us. And then He has delivered us in these situations and healed us. Verse 3, O Lord, Thou hast brought up my soul from the grave, and Thou hast kept me alive. Now, again, I didn't know who we were going to be having on the program today, and the testimony of today I can't share with you as well as these folks can, and you'll see that here in just a little bit. But God has kept some people alive. I believe He's kept every one of us alive. I'm so convinced of that I think when we get to heaven and God somehow rolls back the time in our life and just kind of displays in our life the time that He's allowed us to be avoiding a situation. I use this illustration a lot, and I really believe this. Sometimes we might have got so frustrated because we were stopped by a traffic signal when we were running late. We thought, why did this have to happen at this time in my life? I even shared a comical situation years ago. I was getting ready on a Sunday morning. I had come in from the road singing. I run into the house to change, take a quick shower, and I was going to go up to the nursing home to preach a message at the nursing home, go over and teach Sunday school, preach that morning. I had also that day discipleship class that evening before the evening service, and preached that night. So I had a very busy schedule, had just come off the road from singing 3 days. I was rushing, and as I was getting ready and I went to tie my shoes, my shoelace broke. And I thought, now, what is this all about? Why am I being delayed? I'm going to have to unlace my shoe, I'm going to have to relace this shoe, and I'm going to take all this time, and I have to find all this stuff. We don't know in a moment like that moment might have avoided us a life-threatening accident. You say, well, you're so simple-minded that you believe that. Yeah, I do believe that. I believe God has allowed us to avoid situations. I believe, just like this verse says, He kept me alive. There have been situations that I might have been in a tragic accident, but God spared me that. That's the God. See, that's the God that takes care of us. Oh Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave. There's no telling how many times God has delivered you that we don't even know about. There's some times that we do know about, like the situation we'll hear about today. We see these things, but there's times that we don't even know that the hand of God has just protected us in a particular situation. And that God that's protecting you is the same God that's going to let things get better in your life. Thou hast kept me alive that I should not go down to the pit. Then he goes in verse 4, break out into singing. It says, sing unto the Lord, O ye saints of his, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. So we need to remember these things that God has done for us, and then let it cause us to sing, and let us cause us to praise him and give thanks. Verse number 5, for his anger endureth but for a moment. Aren't you glad that the length of his anger is just a time? If God's anger wasn't subsided, we would all be in hell today. But God's anger didn't last but for a moment here, and in his favor is life. God highly favors you. I want to say this, and I'm trying to kind of make this a quick close because I'm excited about what we're about to see in the testimony and song we're about to enjoy, and I'm excited to be a part of this. But as we put this to a close, God's anger is before a moment, but his favor is for life. Look what it says here, and it says, for his anger endureth but a moment, and his favor is life. In other words, God has highly favored you, but not just for a moment. He has favored you all your life long. I know it says in his favor is life, but in the reference and in the context as he's saying this, his anger is a moment, but what he's saying is his anger is in a moment, but his favor is for life. God favors you. Now, your situation may not be a favorable situation. Satan definitely doesn't favor you. He talks about in James that he walketh about as a roaring lion, or 1 Peter, and seeking whom he may devour. God, the devil does not favor you. Your situation may not be favorable, but you got a God in heaven that favors you, highly favors you. And he doesn't favor you just for the good times, but he favors me in my life, my whole life. He loves me in my situations no matter what. Doesn't mean that he approves of every situation I've ever been involved in. It doesn't mean that he is excited about everything that I'm doing, but he highly favors me in every situation. And it says here finally, as we look at the final thought that we started off with, weeping may endure for the night season, but joy cometh in the morning. Yes, there is weeping. Yes, there are night times, but with every night time, just as we looked back in verse number 1, we saw the down times, he lifted us up. Every downtime in our life represents a time that God lifted us up at the end of that downtime. And just every nighttime represents another sunrise that's on the horizon. What a day that's going to be when you come through and see. The Bible says, when he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. So what I'm trying to tell you is this right here. It's going to get better. I promise you, just as sure as the sun came up this morning, and today is a new day, and you can't stop tomorrow from happening. I don't care who it is in this world, how much money you have. I don't care how healthy you are, how sick you are. It doesn't make. I do care, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what these situations may. You can't stop the sun from coming in the morning, which simply means, yes, you have sadness. I can't stop your sadness, but I can't stop the joy that'll come in the morning. Weeping endures for the night season, but joy comes in the morning, and it is going to get better. Father, thank you for your grace and your goodness unto us. Thank you for the testimony of today's service and today's program, and I pray, Lord, that many hearts will be touched. Thank you, Lord, for every downtime that you've allowed us to go through to see your mighty hand lift us up and how good you've been to us. And then as we think of the night seasons in our life, every night season that we've ever been through has had a sunrise the next day and joy followed. Thank you, Lord, for how much joy you're going to give your people. Encourage some people today by this message and help them to realize it is going to get better in Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, we're going to go to the community calendar while we bring on a very special guest. And y'all don't even...
With speeds up to 150 meg, ETC and Ignite delivers more shopping, more music, more learning, more streaming, more speed to power smartphones, movies, and streaming video, more speed for more devices in your home, and more room in your budget with ETC's low pricing and bundled discounts. Get the fastest internet around with Ignite's new 150 meg. More speed, more savings. Call ETC today.
Proverbs 4:26 states, "Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure.
Too often, investors are looking for instant gratification or some secret formula for success.
The prudent, however, have pondered the path of their money, invested with a vision, and based upon a plan that drives the selection of their investments.
We believe the prudent approach is to have a strategy and patiently work towards your goals.
Give us the opportunity to compete for your business, because at Kiker Wealth Management, the wisdom is in the planning.
I'm Lauren Smith, University of Georgia. Today we have John Davis, former Georgia Tech All-American, and Frank Ross, captain of the Bulldogs' 1980 National Championship team in a Subway showdown. Subway.
How many Subways does that Singleton own? He just up at number 17. He started in my hometown of LJ. Yeah, but he graduated from University of Georgia.
Hey guys, who's hungry?
It looks like Subway and Singleton Food Services Incorporated, the winner again.
All love Subway.
Chevy runs deep in Canton at Bill Holt Chevrolet. Deeper selection, deeper discounts, and we're letting everybody know it. Not just Chevy buyers in Atlanta. Chevy buyers in Blairsville, Blue Ridge, Jasper, and LJ. If you're out there, we're right here with one huge selection at Truck HQ. Always get our lowest prices and friendliest service. Online, BillHoltGM.com.
'Cause when you're talking trucks, you're talking Truck HQ.
At Blue Ridge Dermatology, we believe your skin is vital to your health. That's why each of our providers gives personalized treatment recommendations. Let Dr. Mills do a thorough exam. He specializes in all skin conditions. Jamie Savageau is our nurse practitioner who specializes in skin disease. And our physician's assistant, Patrick Martin, is a certified injector for facial rejuvenation. Our certified laser technician, Donna Atosco, performs laser procedures with the latest gold standard equipment. Susan Newton is our medical esthetician. She specializes in chemical peels and skin tightening. Let one of the staff at Blue Ridge Dermatology help you look and feel your best.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere. So when we get home, I know it's safe.
Get peace of mind for your family with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to ETC Security and get 6 months monitoring free. Call ETC Security now or visit etcsecurity.com to learn more.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
We're back. I hope you enjoyed that message. That is one of my favorite from Brother Matt Dobler. Wow, y'all were doing that and I was doing that. I'm paying attention and I have another birthday that I need to be sure and get in because this is sweet Jerry Hightower, Dawn's next door neighbor out in Ludwell community. Happy birthday, Jerry, from the grandkids, the kids, and everybody else who knows and loves you. So happy birthday to you. And I also want to say something that happened for us on Friday, and this was very interesting because we paid attention to how our lives are changing. Everybody knows that I'm now part of the Bells of All Ground, and the Bells of All Ground gather to celebrate each other. That's just what we do. We celebrate each other, we celebrate the town we live in, we celebrate helping people. We just like to celebrate. And so on Friday, we had a wonderful celebration down at Woodmont Country Club in the Macedonia community. And I can say, I smiled so much that day because on the way to the event, I'd never been to Woodmont, but it was on the path that Angela took on the lawnmower with Tori. And if you've watched our program for many, many years, then you know that once upon a time, Angela had to drive Tori to school on the lawnmower. And she drove her down Highway 20, down through Macedonia to school because she couldn't get her car out of the garage because something was parked behind her. She wasn't going to just sit and let this child miss school. So she cranked up the riding lawnmower and away they went. And as I went to Woodmont on Friday, I shared this story with the ladies who were with me. And I smiled, and it felt so good to talk about my child and to smile. So also to Woodmont Country Club, Thank you. Everything was fantastic, fabulous, wonderful. Our wait staff was amazing. Our location was amazing. The food was fantastic. It was a wonderful day. And the thing that really made it wonderful was the group of people that we were there with people who have lost a loved one. We were there with people who are recovering from something. We were there with people who were just there to encourage each other. But we had two gentlemen with us, and both of these guys have lost their wives. And to see both of them smiling and happy, and Kathy Mock was one of those ladies that encouraged and inspired all of us because she was an amazing artist, and we just loved her work. We also loved the idea that she loved to share with us and to try to teach us. And we laughed and we talked and we shared this story. And to see everybody sitting there just having a good time and smiling, that's what it's about. That is what it is about. We have to move on from whatever has hit us in the head, faced us, rammed us up against a wall. We've got to move away from it. And to see everybody together Friday was like this amazing dose of penicillin that cured everything. It was just a wonderful, wonderful day. So to everybody, thank you. Now, I'm going to share another song from Vicki. Vicki Holofield is one of the Bells of Ball Ground. She is an amazing, wonderful lady. She is a very strong Christian. She truly believes in that the Bible is, every word of the Bible is the truth, and that if you will read that and live by that Bible, your life will all come together. And I was very honored to be able to share this with y'all, because this is music that her husband had. He passed away, but he had this in his car to listen to all the time, and it encouraged him and it inspired him, and then he encouraged her. And I think that that's what we all need to be about. We need to be about encouraging and lifting somebody else up. So we're going to leave you today with the music from Vicki doing, and this was actually Freddie's favorite song she did. It is just beautiful, so sit back and enjoy.
Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely and long?